Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Spirit Connections tonight on WCTV. How's everyone doing tonight? Hello? Well, I'm excited tonight because we have so much to talk about, and I'm so happy that I have Miss Reverend Kathleen Hoffman on. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. Well, I have to apologize because the original date that we had set, I ended up getting something in my eye, like a laser beam, so I pretty much had to cancel the show because, as you guys know, it's not too bright tonight, but usually those lights are beaming right on my eyes, so I know a lot of times I could barely handle the outdoor light, never mind these studio
Indoor
lights, you
yeah,
know?
can understand.
So thank you so much for understanding.
Well, you're welcome.
Because it was a last minute thing. I had to call her myself and say, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
Fine.
I felt so bad.
That's fine.
But you're here tonight.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to have you here because I have so much to talk to you about.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
This is my first time meeting Kathleen, and I didn't realize that we actually had so much in common.
Yes, definitely.
So you are part of, what church is it?
The Onset Spiritualist Church in 17 Highland Avenue. Yeah. We have
Excellent.
a parish there.
And you're a certified medium.
Certified medium.
Reiki
yep,
master.
And healer. Yeah.
Just like
Teacher. Yeah. We've got a lot in
me
common.
and Steph, too.
And Stephanie, too. Yes. Definitely.
You do table tipping.
Mm-hmm. Table tipping.
And you do drawings with readings.
Yeah. Spirit drawings. Yeah.
You do meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty much listing everything that you do. Like
yes.
there's just, it goes on and on. Now, tell me, because it seems like you're a pretty busy girl. Mm-hmm. So when you do when you go to the church, this First Spiritualist Church, should I say it, the First Spiritualist Church?
The First Spiritualist Church,
I just want to make sure I wanted to give it the right title.
Yeah, the First Spiritualist Church of Onset. A lot of them called the First Spiritualist Church of whatever town that they're in. Yeah, so ours is Onset. Yeah.
So now you are a reverend there.
Yes, I am.
And is that first and foremost what you would consider that you do?
Well, I pastor the church and run classes. Every Wednesday we have spiritual unfoldment classes where you develop your gifts and learn different modalities of healing and so forth. And that's every Wednesday at 7:30, and it's open to the public. You don't have to be a member to come.
That's great.
And it's only $5. So.
Yeah. And it's a donation to the church?
It's a donation to the church, yes. Yeah.
That's great. Now, do you have a website where maybe people could go on and if they were interested as far as the events? Basically, what I'm trying to get at is every Wednesday night, does it change what you do?
Oh, yes,
yes.
Every the first 2 Wednesdays, we focus on hands-on healing or anything to do with healing. And the other 2 or 3, depending on if it's a 5-month, we have mediumship or developing our intuitive abilities, our mediumship abilities. Yay. So we might have spirit messages, and everybody brings a picture of a loved one that passed into spirit. And we all break up into groups, and we get what we get with that picture. And it's amazing. People are amazed at themselves and how they pick up.
How many people do you think you enlighten? Seriously, I mean, that's not a literal question, but I'm just saying that outwardly. Like, how many people do you think that you enlighten by doing this? Like, this is amazing. Yeah. And Onset being a huge spiritualist community.
Oh, definitely.
From back in the day. I mean,
it was a spiritualist camp.
Exactly.
Everybody had houses there that were spiritualists. Yeah.
I was reading about Lilydale from upstate New York, and along with Lilydale, there was a cliff note on Onset, and that was when it kind of opened my eyes. That was a few years back. I didn't realize that.
Right. The prior pastors were really renownedly known for their mediumship skills and for their abilities, and also they were musicians. They were harpists, and they were fantastic musicians also. So they pastored the church for about 50 years. So I've been pastoring about 12 now. When Kenneth, Gladys, his wife, passed before him, and then Kenneth passed into spirit, and then I became pastor after his passing. I was assistant pastor prior. So I have a little bit of the old, and we have a little bit of the new coming into the church. Yeah.
Obviously, with everything that you offer.
Yeah, I really like to enjoy whatever whatever I've learned that's helped me in my life. I ended up becoming so that I could help others. You know, and that's, I feel it's a giving back.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like the lights are lightening up, and is it me or is it?
They're changing a little bit.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure who it was. But anyways.
Maybe it's spirit.
It probably is. We've been known to have a lot of things happen in the studio.
Yes,
so
we do.
I wouldn't be
Wonderful.
surprised.
Yep, it gets interesting in here, especially the later it gets.
Exactly. And this stuff.
Wonderful.
Okay, so anyways, as far as you becoming a pastor at the church, what do you think? Do you have a particular niche as far as what you prefer to do? I know it all kind of comes together as one.
It really does.
However, I've learned with my personal self, with these different types of
gifts and
and
abilities,
modalities,
yeah.
there's certain ones that I
really enjoy
really
doing.
enjoy, and that's where
Yes.
my passion is. Like,
Yes.
as far as being a medium, that's where I give and give and give. So
Yes.
is there one that you really get excited to to do? Or even teach if it's a class? Is there
Yeah, I really enjoy inspiring. So maybe inspirational speaking. Really anything that comes from the heart, I really enjoy doing. It's hard to say which one. I feel that one becomes more comforting and more expansive for me. And along with it, the creative visualization, during service, those kind of like what I really enjoy. Not that I don't enjoy mediumship, and I was taught under the old school way where you give quick, fast messages, boom, right from spirit. So it's kind of nice to be able to bring that's where the old is coming into the new vibration and teaching that the old way.
See,
so it's
that's
kind of
really interesting. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Because I know there's so many well-known mediums out there that have their own type of intuitive class, and they each teach in a certain way.
Yeah.
But I wasn't aware. I'll be the first one. I don't know if you were, Steph, but I was never aware that originally, like, you were supposed to be giving like the quick messages.
Yeah,
like that.
the idea of that in a church base, because as far as spiritualists, why we do mediumship is strictly to prove the continuity of life, and to bring comfort and solace to those that have,
Right.
that are mourning
Absolutely.
and grieving, and those in the spirit world that want to connect with them. So I was trained under the prior pastors, and Gladys and Kenneth would suggest doing quick messages when you're doing your parish, so that when people come, you get as many as you can. Yes, in fact, you get a definite, like I have a grandfather energy here that has gray hair, and a little bit of the personality, and a little bit of something that they may have done, and then give the spiritual message along with it. So it's kind of like quick and precise. And that doesn't mean any other way that people do it is wrong at all, but I just enjoy getting as many as you can.
And you don't have to worry about saying, because I'm constantly like, just because you wear this doesn't mean that, or just so don't. We just kind of
free
by,
for
I just kind of speak our minds.
Yeah.
And hopefully nobody takes offense to anything that we say. Which
of course, and it's true. You certainly don't want, because
you don't.
And then of course, when you're individually doing a reading, you're going to take a long time and give much more.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because a private reading is so different from a gallery setup.
Yes.
A gallery setup, even whether it's a church or whether it's another facility.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. Actually, on the prior show that I had Nicole Stevens, who's also a spirit medium, as well. We were talking about gallery style readings versus the private style. And it's, again, if you're getting a private reading, you're not going to get the Billy's here and he said hi, or like it's not going to be a quick thing like that. It's more
personal and elaborate, and more may come in, at the time, and it gives you more time to bring everybody. Let them come in. Bless you. And I do much different when I work out of the chapel. It's on 3A. It's an old antique. It was a chapel at one time, and it's full of antiques. And the woman, I've been doing that for several years now. But I thought at first, well, how am I going to ever do a circle. All the antiques were hanging over each other and everything. It was a
Right.
nice, and it's a lovely shop. But it turns out that it's the most marvelous place. The energy is built through all these years that it's so fun. And, you know, maybe somebody gets an 8-minute, you know, segment of a reading you go around to do. And we hold 11 or 12 people in the shop, and it's fun. Yeah, so
I
it's
love
different, and it gives me a chance to do the quick style. Everybody gets a message, and we've proved the continuity, and then it opens their lives up more, and you get comments like that. Like some people are grieving so bad that they don't want to live,
Yes.
and it gives them, many times they say, it has saved my life just hearing from my mother or
it's the comfort, and that's what I always say. I'm not here to be your therapist. I'm not here to save the world, but I'm here to provide you comfort in knowing that death is just a word, and we leave this physical realm, physical body, and we become something else because we are truly energy.
In the spirit, right? And with the highest of all the laws, natural laws, is the vibration. We become another vibration. Yeah.
So now, say if I know the classes are open to everybody, but say if there was someone watching the show tonight and has never been to the First Spiritualist Church, would they be welcome to just come in to see what it was about? Or?
Yes, not everyone that comes and has been coming for years is a member. There's no heavy at all. If a person wants to become a member, they're welcome to do that. You know, they talk with me and we talk about why, and there's classes. We do the spiritual lymphoma classes on Wednesday that's open to the public. And then if a person is a member and wants to do the study courses, which are from the Morris Pratt Institute and the American Federation, and these are legalized courses that really go into depth on mediumship and healing. So it's about 19 to 20 lessons that we meet every Wednesday at 6 before class for those who want to study, and we work together as a group and study and do our lessons. And so so then you get certified, and the church certifies them, and plus they get their certificate of completion. And it can take anywhere from, well, for the students, it may take a couple of years, and then they have a year or two, depending on what it is. With mediumship, it takes another 2 years for practicum. So somebody's really thoroughly understanding what spiritualism is, why was it formed, why was the religion formed, and so that they can easily answer questions to people that come to the church. And then when they're out doing their work, they can answer questions and to others.
No, this may sound kind of silly, but I'm just wondering, are children allowed to come to the church?
Oh, sure. Sure. Oh, gosh, yeah.
Because you would think, why wouldn't children be allowed to go to a spiritualist church? But for whatever reason, my mind automatically goes to an older crowd, like myself,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
wouldn't
why.
consider you older, but but we have children. In fact, I had a children's lyceum. Whenever there's enough kids, I love kids, and I love to, when we'll have classes, and what we do is we maybe talk about self-esteem, which is really important in the base of our souls and things like that, and kids do crafts and fun and maybe learn a certain topic. As far as development classes, if the child is old enough and parents' permission, they can come in class too. I think I've had as young as a 9-year-old, but with parents' permission.
Right. And I've learned that, it's very touchy when children are involved in that realm as far as doing the medium work and so forth.
And we would always suggest if this particular child was extremely gifted and the parents were well-versed in spiritualism and everything, so it was safe.
Right.
And it would use discretion on that. I would use discretion as a pastor. Depending on the circumstances. But they come every Sunday at 6:30. We have children, parents bring their kids, and and if the lecturer, who then becomes the medium afterwards, after the lecture becomes the mediumship, they will ask permission of the parent before they give any child a message. So it's always clear on that, not just stepping over bounds.
I like this.
It's cool.
Steph's been to the church. I have not, so
Yeah, so we're hoping you're coming.
I will. I
Yeah,
want to.
yes.
And, well, that's the thing. I'm so used to going to. I was raised Protestant, so I was used to going to a Protestant church, and then if I'd sleep over at my friend's house on a Friday, I'd go to a Catholic church.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but it was just because
No,
they would
no.
drag me along, so they didn't have time to drop me off in the morning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think it's good to be open.
So I've been to like both types, you know, but I've never been to a spiritualist church.
Well, you'll
which
have to come and see. I'm sure you'll fit right in.
Now, do you do? I feel so silly asking these questions, but
Why?
do you have songs and stuff that you sing too,
Oh,
or is
yeah.
that just
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm. We have a regular hymnal that you'll find in other churches.
Mm-hmm.
I was brought up Catholic myself. In fact, a good amount of the parishioners or people that come go to their own, Catholic religion too, and they come in the evening and come to our church for maybe meditation or messages or hands-on healing, because we have hands-on healing too, which is nice.
Hands-on
So,
healing. I know.
yeah.
I like it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Kathleen and I were speaking earlier before the show, and I told her that I have I told you that I'm talking to the camera, but I guess I should be focusing on you. There's a huge paranormal community out there, and a lot of them do tend to watch Spirit Connections.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's when you said, well, we
Yeah.
usually teach people about spirits and ghosts.
Yeah, well, yes, and what is the difference? Because a lot of people that come to the church say, well, I have a spirit in my house, what do I do? So we believe that anybody that leaves the physical form is a spirit, and people can call a spirit a ghost. And we believe that if there's a spirit that is around and perhaps causing a little havoc or something like that, perhaps they need to be prayed for, and we would suggest praying and releasing them to go to the spirit world, where that we believe that they're probably stuck. If not, we'd find what reasons that they're still there. And a lot of it's protection and prayer, so.
Setting the intentions.
Setting the
before
intention.
getting into the house, you have to set your
Yes.
intentions,
Mhm.
and even before
Yes.
you even, if you were to go to a house and help the family out, we talked about this
Yes.
before, is the power of protection.
Yes. Well, we always ask for infinite, we call God infinite intelligence. We ask that we're protected and guided, and we invite God in to protect the home and
Right.
surround ourselves with love and light. And we ask that nothing but love and light surround us or come from us or towards us, and only for the best and highest good. So we always do that in our circles, in our church, every part of it. So we're always asking for the highest and best to come in, even in the spirit world.
And
Yes.
you enlightened me earlier, which I'm going to bring up, the term exorcism. Okay, when I first hear the term exorcism, I think of The Exorcist, and
Right. Which is pretty scary.
Exactly,
Yeah.
anything that I have all these gory movies that pop into my mind because of what Hollywood has created. However, now you enlightened me, because there was the new way, and then there was the old way of exercising. Excising or exercising, whichever. But can you explain to me, or explain to everybody, what you had told me? Because, and I don't even know if you know this, Steph, or not, but it's definitely, I was enlightened by it. So,
Well, a few years ago, probably about maybe 10 even, I was trained under a psychotherapist in Sandwich on spirit releasement, which is considered like doing an exorcism. So a person, just like on the earth plane, we all have positive people, or we have people that are what I call conscious people that thinks about their brother and sister as themselves, or we have unconscious people that are not aware of what they're doing to others, and they're just into themselves, and there's no that feeling there. So just as in spirit, there's negative and positive, and like Edgar Casey has written in his teachings there too, that say perhaps if you're at a bar and you're drinking away there, that you're kind of opening yourself up to perhaps negative spirits that perhaps were drinkers themselves and don't even realize they're in the spirit world. And it has been written that they can actually try to get from the ethers of your drinking and try to consume that alcohol, and they're stuck in that place and time. So you can be subjecting yourself to negative. So then again, what you want to do is always protection. That doesn't mean you can't go to a bar and you don't get scared that everybody's going to be, all the negative spirits are going to come after you or anything like that. But there's books out there that explain this, and it's kind of, interesting. And Edgar Casey talked about it in his teachings also. So perhaps now, at times that we're negative, perhaps we're down, depressed, lonely, angry, tired, we can be subject to negative forces that are out there, perhaps. Okay, so they might come at a time that we're down and out and kind of come in our etheric field,
right,
and stay there a little bit. Now, I worked also with a physicist, Edward Jastrom, who was a pronounced dowser, and he was 80-something at the time. Interesting gentleman. He was fascinating. And he called them critters. And you could actually call him on the phone, and he may still be alive today. I'd have to go looking for his number.
Quick, let's call.
You could actually call him, literally call this wise soul, wise, intelligent soul. And he would scan your home, wherever you were having, and would ask you, what's the situation? And actually even come out with what was going around in your home.
So it was like remote viewing?
Yes, exactly. And then he would take, he would get the information, and he would tell you, well, I'll be calling you back in a couple of days. And he would do dowsing, and he would figure, I actually have the formula, because towards the end when I was saying, boy, this is amazing, and things that you're doing, and it'd be nice if we could do this ourselves, and blah, blah, blah. And he said he would douse to find out how many critters or verdes. He called actual negative anger or negative words that were out there. He counted those too, okay, as verdes. Okay, so he would call you back and say, well, you had 3,000 critters, or you had 5,000 verdes, or whatever it was. And the amazing thing is, now we could say it's the power of thought, you could placebo effect, or whatever it is, but there would be a shift. And he would use the Archangel Michael,
yes,
and other saints to do this work with him. He would use his pendulum to douse and clear.
And clear the energy.
And he did this for absolutely nothing. You could spend hours with him on the phone. He was a good soul and meant with great intentions. And I felt like I was gifted to learn this information. I didn't know quite about it as much as after meeting him. And he was phenomenally intelligent, and he actually had gone to the church a couple of times. I found out afterwards, because he was in his 80s at the time. So that was another person that had brought me into the fact that, yes, in fact, negative thoughts or forms can come near you. How do you tell? So he explained to me, and this would be interesting to give people. He explained that his wife and himself also, now, when they changed their temperament or things were a little edgy with them and so forth, they knew that they had to do a clearing, so they would clear each other. Now, he said there are some people that absolutely don't get what they would call possessed.
Right.
And he has no idea why, but there's people that don't. But I sadly to say there's probably more that do than don't. But he said he found only one remedy, because I asked him, I said, well, isn't there anything else we could do? Or something like this. And he said, well, there is this weed called Joe Pye, and it's around the swamps. And he said that when him and his wife picked the Joe Pye and put it on the front door, that it seemed like there was lesser times that they would get, infused.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. And so I'd like to, it's good that we're sharing it, just in case. And
it's worth a shot. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Seriously, if you're having issues at home, or if you're, you know,
Yeah.
I would definitely go around the swamp and find that weed.
And you can always clear your
Joe
home.
pie.
And I use a prayer.
Joe pie.
Yeah, that's the name of it.
It
It's
just
a
sounds
weed.
so funny
Yeah.
to me.
It's
Yeah.
actually a weed, and that's what they call it, the Indians. Okay. And then there's, you know, of course, in your home, you can always ask if there's anything around here that's not coming from love and light and does not have our best interest at heart. I command you to leave in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. And you can shift that way or clear. Always
Sage.
Sage is one avenue.
Huge.
Sage, or even an actuator. I do a lot of feng shui. So an actuator with just a little bit of mist with maybe a black obsidian stone inside to get the negativity that would absorb it. And you can spray that around because it's there's so many things you do. A clap or use a bell, but there's different things. But I do believe that you have control.
Absolutely.
You know. Spirit doesn't control you. You have the control. You're the controller.
And that's what I get that a lot, because a lot of people come to me and say, I feel like I've lost it. I don't know what's going on, and I feel overwhelmed with this and that, and usually they feel like it's something taking over them. And
yes, that's hard when people are like that, and then
or even when people start doing the medium work.
Right.
A lot of times they'll say, how do you have these, like, people will constantly try to contact me. Well, you know what? You need to. You are your own boss, and you need to set your own boundaries.
Yes, it's not like what they say. You know, who's the new Rhode Island? No, who's that?
Long
Island medium. Because it's set in stage. You don't just go up to. We never would do that. We would never walk up to somebody and say,
I'm glad she's saying
"I've got
it,
your uncle here, and he's done this and that." That it totally takes away from the spiritual part of it, and the respect for the spirit world, and also those you're coming to. You know,
I'm happy you said that, Kathleen, because I say it pretty much every episode, and it's true. TV, even though it's called reality TV, it's producer TV.
Yeah.
You know, it's what people want to watch.
Right.
And if you were out there giving readings like that, then
probably
you would be
would worry about
exhausted
us.
within 2 hours. You'd be like, all right, I'm calling it a day. It just doesn't.
Yes.
As much as we love to give messages
And it's
validations,
exciting. Yes.
and it's exciting.
Exciting.
Unfortunately, it doesn't normally happen that way.
Right, and we hold it as far as spiritualism. You know, it was under a religion, so it's part of that religion. And back in the day, they used to do seances in the houses, and through the trance and getting the information from spirit, that's how they formed, because they all worshiped. They got together and worshiped that, and then they made it into the religion. And it's phenomenal, the information that came through back in the day. It's just phenomenal.
Well, I tried automatic writing, and
Yes.
it was definitely kind of out of this world. The information that I was getting, I wrote it all down, and afterwards I reread it, and I'm like, wow.
Did that come from me? Right?
I sound pretty intelligent right now. You know,
yeah,
but
when you allow it to come
flowed.
through.
It all just flowed.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I did, and I need to continue to do it, because it helps me, you know.
Well, see, that's just it. Why do we do it? And again, it's a higher reason. It's not just to kid around or have fun, because we take it with great, as you do, a great reserve and regard. And, you know, so we have outside speakers come too, and then I'll jump back to Dr. Henry Roberg with the spirit releasement and how the process of that is, because I kind of stepped off of that.
That's okay.
But we have different mediums from all over the world, from England and all over that come, and they'll offer special workshops over the weekend. So they'll stay at the Hollister House. We have a place that they stay over, and then they can offer their gifts. And we have shamans. We have all kinds of people with very diverse backgrounds, but in the spiritual realm and so forth. We're having actually Dr. Elaine Kamiskis from Connecticut's coming up, and she's going to be doing the art of mediumship, and she's in Lilydale offering classes.
Really?
And she's written several books, and she was actually married by the prior pastors Gladys and Kenneth Custon, so that's kind of like a great honor that she, so she's coming this weekend to offer the art of mediumship.
Sorry. I have a tendency to interrupt people.
That's okay.
Right, Steph? Yep.
Well,
So
you didn't slap her though, so we're good.
And let me know
Slaps
too if
me.
there's any questions, because
Yep.
I'm kind of in a warp of like.
No, we're good right now.
trance.
I'm sitting here listening to everything.
I know. I love
So-
it. I love it. I love it. But my question is the church open all the time? Can we just come in and stop by, or is it certain time frames?
Well,
that-
it's listed on the website.
Okay.
Generally, but for instance, somebody might come and offer a weekend, like a Saturday workshop, do Sunday night service, and then have a workshop Monday night, Tuesday night, and then we'll have spiritual unfoldment classes. So it could be through the week, but you'd have to look through that, but generally always Wednesday, always Sunday. And we have Medium's Day every first Saturday of the month that anybody
wanna
can
do
come.
it.
Yeah,
Sign
everybody
us
can
up.
come and you pre-sign up at 1:30 we open, but it's from 2:30 to 4 p.m. You can have 15-minute reading with a medium for $15.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of gives a little bit of a taste and a reasonable price.
Well, it's true. A lot of people are so intimidated to come in and check out, I look really dark on TV right now. I'm just looking. I looked over at one of the monitors and I look like Darth Vader. It's okay. I needed a tan. I do. Sometimes I hate SPF, even though it's so good. Definitely wear SPF 30 or above. But anyways, that's my ADD that kicks in.
That's okay.
Sometimes.
That's all right. No, but people can come. Again, they don't
She's
have
like,
to be.
Let's talk about the church.
They don't have to
Sorry,
be
go ahead.
members or anything, to come. So that's open.
I think that's great because, again, what I was going to say is a lot of times when it comes to mediums, people are intimidated and they have this, because that's what I ask. Have you had a reading? No, and I'm really nervous. And I always say, don't be nervous. It's all right.
Right. A lot of people get scared that we're going to say that, they're going to die or somebody they know is going to die. And that is that's totally against ethics. We would never do that.
Exactly. And I always say, you know what, I communicate with people that have passed. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not going
Right.
to tell you what could happen to you, what you think could happen to you tomorrow could possibly change with a blink of an eye. So
Right. And you always have free will. And never take a reading as 100%. Most readings are anywhere from 83 to 95 to 100% in the reading itself. Because you have a human being that's bringing in the information. The most important thing in the training is to keep your own self out of it. And that's the training.
That's the hardest part,
That's the
isn't
hardest
it?
part. And
logic always steps in.
yeah, and you have to train yourself. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, well, they took a couple of classes and they want to go home and they put signs up that they're mediums now. I would fray kind of against that because it takes a long time to really get to fine-tune it. You may be wonderful, but to fine-tune it and how to learn how to articulate
And
what to
deliver.
say and deliver and to be discerning about what you deliver. Because some people are taking that literally, and you have to be careful of what you put out there.
We always
And
talk
give,
about this, because it's you have to take on that responsibility
Yes.
of that individual that's in front of you. You never know what state of mind they're in.
Right, right.
And
then you have to also, the students, I talk about, if you've got something and it's coming towards you and to you and they can't place the person right now, you can possibly just say, well, could you please take that with you? Because most often what happens is they're right on the phone or coming next Sunday and say, oh, I know who that is now. It's Uncle Sam and I forgot all about him. And, so.
I always say that. I'm like, hold on to it, hold on to it.
Yeah, hold on to it. So
it was funny because yesterday, Stephanie and I had the opportunity to go with Andrew Lake, who is a well-known author from Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
And he does a lot of paranormal investigations, and he had contacted both of us because there was some issues going on in a couple different locations, so it was kind of like a field trip. And
Neat.
so he...
All over the state. We went everywhere.
We
No
did,
kidding.
we really
That's been
did.
fun.
So we had said, okay, don't tell us anything because we don't want to be impressioned.
Right.
And what I'm getting at is that we end up at a construction site. It's a demolition site where they were demolishing a building, and we ended up meeting with this family, and we were able to kind of help give them some answers as to what was going on to their location.
Oh, wow.
Well, we ended up, after delivering the messages to them, they still had a crew standing in front of us like, wait, what did you come up with?
We had an audience. And it
We
was kinda
did.
like,
No
all all these big, tough guys looking at us sideways, like, who are
What are
these
you
two little
doing?
girls on a demolition site, and what are they talking about right now?
Right.
Totally out of their element. They didn't know what to do with us.
We walk out and they're just standing there, and of course, you do get a couple of them that are like, well, if you guys are mediums, why don't you tell me who's around me?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
So of course, I had my competitive side kind of came out, and I'm like, all right, you want to know? No. But what I'm trying to tell you is that we ended up having this one non-believer come over to us.
Okay.
And we both...
And you made him a believer.
Yeah.
Isn't that the best? Oh, don't you love it?
It turned into him throwing his work gloves up in the air and walking away saying, I can't believe it.
Isn't this great? That's so awesome.
I love it. And he was so grateful. He was so grateful. And he's like, there's no possible way anybody could have known that.
He kept asking me, he's like, are you sure you didn't pull my mother's medical records? I'm like, how would I have done that?
Right.
How would I have even known that you were going to be here? I had no idea.
HIPAA, come on.
It was, HIPAA. Yeah, we both work for, I work for medical billing, so I know. But,
so you know.
Yeah, it was to the point where we didn't know anything. Like, we both showed up in flip-flops to a demolition site because we were told that it was a running business. We thought we were walking into a building.
business, yeah.
Like a normal business. And we show up on a construction site. The business is them demolishing a historic mill. And we're like, oh, well, we weren't prepared for this. This is probably the wrong shoes for the occasion.
To say the
Definitely
least.
not safe. We forgot our hard hats at home, too. But
I know, they should have given us, I just thought of that. I'm like, we should have had one. I mean, we didn't think about it, but it was
they were
amazing
people.
Exactly.
Wow, that's wonderful,
and to have
though.
them just, these big, tough guys just kind of look at us like they were so inquisitive. They wanted to know, but they didn't want to ask. And we just started going off, and the one guy came up to us at the end, and he was like, I think something you said might make sense to me. But he was a non-believer. And then it turned into him throwing his work gloves in the air. I can't believe it, running off to his friends. You got to listen to these girls. It was awesome.
That's so good.
To change his whole day.
And change his whole perspective.
And his perspective, right.
And that's the thing. It was like, and of course, he wanted more information after that.
Right.
And more information on us because he wanted to contact us afterwards.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's to open your eyes, to know that you're never truly alone. That's one of my
and it
quotes
gives
that
your
I say all
person
the time,
hope.
but it's true.
Yes.
We need hope. This world can be very it's very hard to and painful.
Absolutely.
And so if you know that you're not alone and that we have something to look forward to in the spirit world, that we can return to our family and friends and our loved ones, and that we grow, we keep on growing, life is eternal, and that we're here for a reason. So it kind of gives you that, okay, all right, I may be alone and not have my family in the physical form, but I have my family in the spiritual form.
And they'll always show signs.
And they'll always show signs.
All the time.
Yes,
all the
definitely.
time.
And that's what I love to help people with too. And they say, oh gosh, I had a butterfly that just fluttered in, right in front. My mother loved butterflies. And, it's that unusual things that happen that they, makes them think, stop and think.
And when you stop and think, that's when we always say, hold on to it. Because like you were saying, sometimes the message being delivered, you might not understand at that time. But if you hold on to it and kind of let it digest for a little bit, a lot of times it'll snap, and then we will get that call or that email or what have you. But it's a gift that will continue to grow and change people's perspectives and
change people's lives.
Yeah. And hopefully they will spread the word.
Right.
That there is something else out there, because I would rather promote health and hope and comfort than false hope or this is it and that's it. Like, there's just no such thing as that's it, it's done, it's over.
Right.
Because anything that you put energy in, it will always still exist, no matter what.
Exactly.
You just have to spark it up again.
Right. Right, and so with our own vibrations, when we're in a negative vibration, I mean, we can get out of it. It's all thought.
Right.
So we change our thoughts on this. That's the power of the secret, that they call it the secret, but it was inception since way back when. And our thoughts are things.
Exactly. And manifesting. We were just talking about manifesting before the show.
Yeah.
Something I need to know more on. Do you do classes on manifestation?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
that's
sign me up, Kathleen.
Spiritualism is based on that.
Yes.
That's one of the natural laws. Thoughts are things. And I can remember when I first contacted the church, one of the mediums there, she was an ice skating teacher at the Bourne Gallo Ice Arena, and this is back in 80, maybe 85. And I didn't know at the time, but she had cancer. And she was sweet enough to answer her phone, and she says, well, not too many people know. She says, I'm just going to talk to you for a little bit. Because what was happening is I was in development classes, and at night when I closed my eyes, I started seeing like these faces, but they were kind of skeleton faces.
Yes.
And so I said, oh my God, I must be doing, oh my God, this is awful. I must be contacting the devil or something, or I must be doing something wrong, and why am I getting these faces? And she took the time to tell me. She says, first of all, she says, I said, oh, I'm so sorry, nobody told me. She says, well, we don't say anything when we have something like this. The more you put it out there, the more it manifests. Other people like, oh, she's got cancer, and that vibration, that negative vibration will go to her. You know, that it will put a damper on. So what we want to do when we hear somebody's ill, and do we always remember? No. Of course, when you hear somebody's ill that you care for, you go, oh my God, or say, but we try to say, okay, I'm going to see them healthy, whole, and well, and just see them in that vibration. Because if you can shift anything for somebody, if it isn't their destiny to pass with cancer or pass at all, then it will shift with that positive vibration. But nothing's guaranteed, and who are we to know? It's in their divine contract. We don't have control over it. We can't heal anybody ourselves, but we can certainly send if it's not for their best and highest good.
Right.
If it is, then the facilitation of that love that we give them may be a big part of the shift for them. But we believe that our doctor guides are the ones that are coming through us, that we're just facilitators. The energy comes in from them and does the healing. So we have doctor guides and so forth. So it's interesting. But the power of thought is a big part of what we believe in, all natural laws. So we do affirmations before we start our classes. We have a whole affirmation list that we all say it together. It's kind of powerful.
And hopefully people will believe that. That's one of the things, is because I realize that you can say it's just like with prayer, when you're raised to say a certain prayer,
right.
You know, like, now I lay me down to sleep, you know, how many times can you just ramble it off and it doesn't, and I hate saying it, because I feel like there's going to be like a bolt of lightning coming down, but how many times do you say something but it doesn't actually mean something? So it's really important that you put that emotion and feeling behind those words, and that you're saying it. Exactly, and visualize it.
We've had many of our members that have had cancer and got cured it because of their positive thought and because they were unwavering faith.
Right.
And if it's for my best and highest good, I ask to be healed and guided through this healing. And so people, as in history, people have healed themselves through many modalities. Like the first person, I think, was the Norman, I don't know what his last name, Constans or something. He, all he did was locked himself in his house and watched funny videos. So he laughed himself to health. You know, it's happiness is a higher vibration.
Yes.
So when you're down, look for another vibration that's going to bring you up, you know, because that's the way, that's the teaching of Abraham. I don't know if you know Esther and Jerry Hicks.
Yes.
So it's all about that vibration. So, and there's many ways to bring yourself up if you're really down. One of them is nature, just getting out in nature, because nature has a healing vortex of, you know, we need the air, the sun, and everything.
Tell me, because when I leave work, when I leave my day job, I get out there and I'm like, oh, I'm alive.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Like all of a sudden it's this brand new, as if I just woke up and now I need to go frolic in a stream and hug a tree.
Exactly. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but it's true. Like all of a sudden you're like, wow, you know, you're really, really excited.
Yeah, it brings your vibration up, just getting outside.
Yeah.
I think I would always suggest that to anybody. Before you say anything, get outside, walk around the house, then come back and rethink.
Yeah, get that blood flowing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A couple of deep breathing exercises.
Yes.
Something.
And that too, you know, because our breath is very important, and we can bring ourselves out of anything.
Right.
The great Buddhas and, you know, yoga teachers, they know what's going on. When you bring yourself into that, you surrender into the peace.
And it's not a fad. I mean, they've been around for
years
upon years upon years.
Yeah. And chanting and all of that can help people.
And I feel like it's just finally making a comeback in like a more of an astounding way than it has before.
Right.
You know, I believe that has come in and out through
time, right?
Times or fads,
sort of a rebirth.
You know, exactly. But I feel like it's.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's the ancient. We're rebirthing ancient ways, even with crystals and so forth. I mean, people used to heal with and are now healing. The healing modalities that they have now are phenomenal.
Exactly.
They go right through to the DNA, and you know, breaking through all our ancestral lines and so forth. People are doing healing by proxy, which is fascinating. Theta and Ewing, and really proving that it works. Right. So, again, it's clearing and trying these things. People don't know until they try. So, ask and it's given. Knock and the door's open onto you. You know, but you have to knock and you have to ask.
Exactly.
Free will.
Exactly.
Free will.
You got to set those intentions high.
Yes, definitely.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So now, do we have any questions, Steph?
No,
I'm sorry. Okay. I wasn't sure because I feel like I've been looking this way most of the time. So.
So am I. I'm sitting here listening to every word. So.
I know. So if anything, it's, you know.
Okay.
Okay. You know who you remind me of, and I forget her name, but she's an actress, and it's because I was watching it the other night, and she's from Beetlejuice.
Oh gosh.
No, but you remind me of
I
her.
like that. I actually like that movie.
She's really pretty, and I don't know if you remember.
You're the movie guy.
I feel like her name was Kathleen or Karen. Kathleen. She in the movie she had auburn hair. She was the mother. She was. Not Gina Davis, okay, because it was Gina Davis. And
Gina Davis is from around here,
yeah,
right?
She's a Wareham native.
Oh, I thought that movie was great. She played a great role
in that.
She's
and Winona
great.
Ryder was in it.
Yeah.
One of the Baldwins.
Someone said Catherine O'Hara.
Thank you. Okay, Catherine O'Hara. That's.
Well, gee, thanks.
Now you're going to have to Google.
Yeah, I'm going to have to
IMDb
Google or something.
Okay, because I'm just staring at you and I'm like, just your certain expressions kind of remind me of her. So that's why I was like, oh.
Well, thank you. I'll have to see and look. Yeah.
Sorry, on a side note.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Well, we're all you know. It's funny. Well, speaking of that, our physical forms really are. You know, it's the energy of the person that comes out, doesn't it? You know, because you know we live in a society today that, and I'm not saying we're saying I had good or bad looks or anything like that, but our society today gets so caught up in the physical form, and we lose ourselves in that. Really, it isn't everything at all, because our spirit, it's our spirit, our soul that goes on.
And it's hard because believe me, I
all
can agree.
Fight that.
I can agree with you and say absolutely, but I'll be the first one to admit that I do
we
that
can
too
get caught up in it. Yeah,
that's the whole part of being human. It comes with
right, and so we can help those that are suffering that may not feel that they fit into the to the society of what we're supposed to look like and all of that, and that's where a lot of the suffering comes.
But nowadays, I feel like society. Now I'm going off topic in a sense, but I feel like society.
I kind of took you there.
Society has all different ways, like shapes, sizes, whatever. Because I feel like everybody, every nationality, every shape is being put out there on TV, and as bad as I say that reality TV is producer TV, it does expose I'll say expose. It does expose all sorts of beings. Right. And
so maybe everybody's getting accepted. Like there's always something good out of alleged something that's wrong or bad. There's always, it's like when we suffer the most, it brings us our best gifts. You know, it makes us, molds us to our better selves.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, we would hope it to.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thought and the intention provided in it.
Right.
So I mean I was going to say I learned that in the book Conversations with God.
Yes,
Neil Donald. I'm like, can I say that, or is that accept? That's accept.
Oh sure.
Okay.
Oh, everything, all of it is. Yeah.
I didn't want to offend.
Oh gosh, no. I mean,
I thought that was a great book.
Yeah, all the teachings that we, pretty much spiritualism is about everything, anything that's soul growth. Do the best and highest good for all concerned. Do unto others you would do unto yourself. the door to reformation is never closed against any soul here or hereafter. We always have a chance to rebirth, a chance to do better.
Right.
Here or in the spirit world, because when we pass in the spirit world, that's where we also have a chance to grow and come back down and do it different if we have another chance to. And yeah, so it's interesting.
So when will you be back on doing, whether it's a class, or when's the next time you're going to be at the church?
Actually, well, actually, I generally do one service a month myself, but I'll moderate for the people that come in, or sometimes the students do. The students also moderate, and they also do a service, and they all take part in. And I'll be moderating, actually ordaining Elaine Comiscus, Dr. Elaine Comiscus, because she's finished her lessons through the National Guild of Spiritualists. Right. But she wanted to be ordained under our church because that's where she learned her development. So I'll be doing her ordination this Sunday, and she'll be doing the lecture in mediumship, and she'll be doing a class. So I'll be there, part of that. And then I think I have a class in July on, is it ghost or is it spirits?
See, so, I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially now.
If you want to come and add to a group, you're welcome.
For everything that you have from here on out for the next 5 years.
Well,
I'm good.
I know.
I'm signing up. I'll be there. I'm just going to drag you along with me.
Well, I mean, you definitely, we fit in. You fit in, and the more, the better. And it's just the way it works. You know, we can all, when you're around people that think alike,
like-minded people.
Yeah, absolutely. I say that all the time, and it's cool because I've actually told people, a lot of people think that I've studied under other people. I said, actually, you know what, the first person that really opened up my mind to I can do this and to not be afraid of my gift was Kathleen Hoffman.
Oh,
10 years ago, it's just, that's where I started. I started going, I'm like, this is normal.
Yeah.
I don't have to feel afraid anymore. And just opening my eyes up to what I could be and what I could do and how I could help others. That's exactly where I started. It was your church. So it'd be awesome to come back. And you'll have to come with me, Tiffany.
I know. And I'm going to have to drag my aunt with me, too, because she keeps on, my aunt raves about going to the church. And I'm like,
wonderful.
I know, I have to get there. I have to get there. So,
yes, well, all are welcome, really, and no pressure. And the more that we can form a wonderful vibration together, the better it is.
Right.
Because you know yourself as a facilitator for meditation. You can help a person expand and open themselves. But you send that energy out into the world. You make a difference in the world just by being in that meditative state, in that energy.
I love it so much. I really do. I do.
Yeah.
Like just by you talking about it, I can feel the sensations that I get when I do meditation, or when I do a guided meditation for somebody, and that is my passion as far as living that type of lifestyle.
And it's
because there's no other. Once you get there, and once you learn how to meditate, or how to just
let go,
and allow yourself to receive messages, give messages, do energy, as far as energy healing with Reiki, like all that kind of stuff. Once you start these modalities, there's no, it almost sounds like a cult, but it's not. But there's no other way to live, because you don't want to live any other way, because it's the utmost, it's for your highest, greatest good at all times. Because your intentions
do no harm to others. It has no harm at all. It's not abrasive, and it's not a have to, and it's not a should.
Right.
It just is, and that's important. To have that freedom. Yeah. So we. Like I said, on the first 2 Wednesdays of the month, we all get together and we do healing on each other and do Om. We tone and chant and prayer. We add everything, a little bit of everything. So it's kind of a nice opportunity to get hands-on healing.
I need that more in my life.
Yeah. It feels so good. You don't want to move afterwards.
Kathleen, if anybody has any questions or they want to get in touch with you, how do they contact you?
Well, they can contact me. I have a cell phone, and it's 774.
Hold on, do you want to give your cell phone out now?
Well, if it's for the church,
okay.
I do give it out on the website. Well, how about this? We'll just go to the website, and if you choose to call,
just letting you know. You
okay,
never know
so maybe not. I do hold a full-time job down, so and I have my own business too, and so.
Great, are you hiring?
Well, who knows?
We'll follow you now.
I know. That's so funny because I'm looking. I'm just kidding.
Well, keep my eyes and ears open. Definitely, definitely.
Kidding.
But, yeah.
Not really. But, okay, so you're...
It's www.church1.org.
And it's right on the screen too, guys. So. And for all you guys who missed anything or have any questions for Kathleen, you can always contact me. My website is tiffanyrice.com. Also, Spirit Medium Tiffany on Facebook. So I'd love for you guys to come and check it out. And also, I want to let you guys know, if you're not doing anything this Friday night, June 22nd, my good friend Mandy Avery is going to be at Uplifting Connections doing her own gallery reading, and I would love it if you guys wanted to go check her out. So definitely check that out. And until next time, thank you, Kathleen, for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Thank you. And next week, guys, body wraps. Asia's going to be back in here. Ooh. We're going to be getting wrapped to lose some weight. So
sounds good.
Or inches, or lose something. So, all right, guys, have a good week, and I will see you next week.